Welcome to the Diamond Las Vegas Open, proudly presented by CueSports International and hosted here at the Rio All Suites Hotel and Casino. The format is 9-ball, race to 7, alternate break, rack your own. Now, let's meet our two opponents for our semifinal match. First up, hailing from Poland, let's put our hands together for Mr. Mieszko Fortunski. And his opponent, hailing from the United States of America. Can we put our hands together for Mr. Skyler Woodward? Our commentators in the booth are Jeremy Jones and Jim White. Gentlemen, have a great match, and you may lag for break.
Well, Jeremy, the stage has been set. We've been introduced nicely, and thank you very much to John Lehman. He's going to be overseeing proceedings out there as our head referee as well. And I think it's fair to say a partisan crowd out there.
Oh, yeah, for sure, but a bunch of pool fans. So definitely rooting for Skyler. There's a few more in his corner. Fortunski knows that. Everybody knows that. But Mieszko, he's playing well, and he's a guy I played before a year or two ago a couple times. And what a talent, just like many of the Polish players. And across from him right now, probably most considered the #2 player in the U.S., that being Skyler Woodward.
Yeah, different paths through to the semifinal. Fortunski got hammered by Niels Fayen 7-2, and Skyler beat the Argentinian star Carlos Ariel Casto 7-4 en route. So one here by virtue of a win, the other by a loss.
And interesting enough, when watch the guys warm up a bit, they broke from opposite sides, but were both very successful in the little bit of practice they had before the match started. Don't need a lot of practice at this point. They've been playing all day. They've been playing since Monday. Or no, was it Wednesday? Excuse me, Wednesday, yeah.
Well, one thing about it, with the alternating break format, we've seen it so often that mistakes, you know, if a player doesn't hold his rack and effectively hold his serve, can come back to haunt him. So that's really what they're trying to do.
And a funny opener here, he may self-spin this and try and just let the one come up about a diamond or so and let the cue ball kind of float behind the 2 and the 8. It's a shot that's delicate, and you know the one's not getting a great spot on the side rail, but it's pretty simple. You'd like to go offensive, but it just looks a wee bit thin to me, Jim. So, like, all right, he's going to edge this, run the cue ball, but there's a lot of gaps, so probably not going to get a snooker. Oh, man. And that shot there, I mean, if you're really good at it, it can be effective, but he was never getting a snooker with that shot. He had to get pretty lucky to use the 8, just the 8 alone to hide the 1.
Yeah, this is kind of the way that he started out his match in the early racks against Niels Fayen as well. Just unforced errors, Jeremy, and he never did recover.
Well, this is out of line here in the first shot. He's going to have to play some short side position. Now, I'll tell you one thing Skyler's really good at, though, is forcing the ball over from real tiny angles. That's got to go.
Yeah, it looked like it just kind of kicked after contact on the 2. It just bounced slightly, the cue ball. It never did follow through.
Well, that type of shot, it happens more because you're trying to ease it in there. And the thing is, go ahead and let the stroke go, and you get a little better contact because you're trying to be delicate with the swing a little bit because that corner pocket's there. And you know you can't afford straight in either.
Either way, this has to be considered a major let-off for Fortunski, who had to feel that the rack was gone after missing the 1.
And this guy's going to shoot a similar shot, but the degree of difficulty is not near as high. And real good speed with the cue ball. He let him see a piece, but real important that he didn't let him see all of it. You can kind of let Fortunski play from the right side of the 3 here. And he probably is not going to be able to do anything too damaging besides maybe bank this ball in. Just slow roll bank it in. Somewhat of Mika Immonen some years ago when he won the World Championships. Similar shot. Well, there you go.
Fluke the 8 in the side pocket. Doesn't look like he's got a shot on the 3. I don't think it passes to the bottom right corner.
No, you're right about that, Jim. And he's got a pretty easy safety as far as just knocking the 3 between the 5 and 7 and going the rail with a little English to check the cue ball up on the 7. It's a little delicate, but I think one he should handle. Is he trying to shoot the 3 into the 7 and go by the 5 with the cue ball? I don't think that's doable. I think you're going to catch the 5 unless you draw it. He's certainly not going to do that from some 6 feet away.
He's very aggressive. We've seen that already in his earlier matches. Both these players here by virtue of 1 loss record.
Yeah, it's the semifinal, and whoever wins here will go on to face Niels Fan. And the shot that I originally mentioned must not be on that great, because it's a pretty standard shot playing 9-ball, and that's what he's shooting right here. Okay, and I'm not sure he got the snooker, and he really addressed it without English. I would have probably put a little bit of left English trying to kill the cue ball a little bit, where it doesn't bump the 7 so much. But he's left a cut. Well, as far as being in these spots, just kind of winning tournament situations, you would have to give a little edge to Sky. Bigger moments.
He's going to open his account here, secure the first rack in this race to 7.
Yeah, and be breaking.
And it wasn't without a few hiccups, though, from both players. And Skyler gets the last laugh in this one, and he'll break in the next. Good young player, too, isn't he, Jeremy? And I think you would, as we see Mieszko Fortunski. Not a lot known of him, and certainly in America, but Skyler, we're very well aware of what he's done and what he's going to be doing. He's got a very bright future ahead of him. He's got a great attitude for the game, very humble, as you mentioned earlier on. Just a very easy young man to like.
Yeah, and an eager professional. Has had some 7-foot, already a 7-foot resume at a young age that most would dream about having. But he knows he wanted to play on the big table and win the biggest tournaments, and he knows it's a little process. And he came out and won on the 7-footers real quick as a young man. Once he started trying, it's going to take a little more time with the fields on the big table and his game improving, but he's willing to do it. Got to respect it.
He knocked the 1 and 2 in off the break here, and he's sitting perfect on the 3.
Okay, well, this is a spot you'll probably come back for the side pocket. You don't have to. You could just come 1 rail, which I like myself. I think the corners just keep you a little more in stroke, a little more in line, less cue ball movement. Wasn't you and I, but it was me and George. He liked the sides more. I like the corners. So. Just, and like I said, that's a lot of 7-foot play too. When you kind of learn on a smaller table, you learn to stay with the corners more, and it really applies well to the big table. I mean, it's obvious you want to move the cue ball at times for the side pocket, but
he's got to be just a little careful here, though. You just pinch the pocket a bit, but
yeah, he can go forward here also by the 9 and to the rail. Nothing wrong with that. Offer an easy angle on the 7 to go around for the 8. Real natural player, but very witty and very keen on the pool table as well.
I like the fact he plays fast. For me, that's always a sign of confidence, and he's got a lot of enthusiasm for the sport as well.
And we didn't mention just yet, but had a little injury just prior to getting on the plane when he was packing, I believe, with his luggage, and accidentally broke a couple of toes.
I'll tell you what, I noticed it in his last match, his 7-4 win over Casto. He wasn't limping nearly as badly as he was a couple days ago.
Well, yeah, the adrenaline gets going. You get a little more used to it. And as you stay a little longer in the tournament, you feel a little better.
Yeah, as that check starts to get a little bigger, all of a sudden that toe heals quicker too.
Well, Sky coming off some big checks here recently, the biggest, I think, of his career at the Derby City Classic, winning not only the 9-ball but the all-around.
Rack number 3 already, and Woodward 2-0 in front.
Ooh, a mean cluster there by the side pocket. I'm not sure he can get at that 2. No, he can't. This is a pretty unfortunate roll. Now is the 2, is it wired? Can he bank the 1 back up into the 5?
It was actually an illegal break because the ball was made off the break, but only the 3-ball passing the head string.
You're right. And
so we haven't really mentioned that yet. It's a 3-point rule here. 3 balls have to pass the head string. Every ball pocketed counts as a ball having passed the head string. So that's the problem area you're looking at right now. He's got a long shot at the 1, but no rewards.
Well, I tell you, I think he would bank the 1 but it's a kiss. I don't think he can get the cue ball out of the way. And Sky, being from Kentucky, a great bank player himself, recognizes that, and he's wondering can I do anything else. The 9's on the bottom rail, so it's not so easy to cross the 1 over and run the cue ball, because then you might put the 1 near the 9. You got to be careful of that. That's doing this right here, to me, was very dangerous, but sometimes you got to do it. But with the 2 covered up, I mean, you could see Fortunski making the 9 somehow here with some type of kick shot, possibly. I know you'd say to yourself, well, that's bad luck, but
well, neither player is going to be looking at the 1, not until that 2 comes into play.
And I'm trying to figure out how to maneuver here now. Another one, if you're going to bank the 1 near the 9 here and put him behind the 3, that can be dangerous. Okay, he hit it great, got the 1 to the left side of the table.
Yeah, one thing about it, if you can extract a foul, get cue ball in hand, and position that cue ball to be able to open that 2 up. Now it's vital. Fortunski knows that. It's vital that he hits this.
And I think that's why he pulled out the jump cue. Feels like it's a little bit more of a for sure hit. Okay.
Well, he's got the angle.
He sure does, and with the 8 being there, it really cuts off a lot of the scratches. You can almost not scratch. You almost just have to hit it perfect to get in there on that 2 ball and scratch. So I think he'll go for the breakout here. If it gets stuck on the rail, that would be really cold-blooded.
Yeah, he looked away to the crowd. I think you've already called it, Jeremy. I think that's exactly what's happened. It's right on the point. Look at his face.
Yeah, you're like, what the? I don't know anything happened on Vegas, but that's pretty hard luck there. It kind of double kissed and set it. Yeah, you can't even jam that one in. It can get stuck on the point where you can kind of force it in the pocket a little bit, but I don't think that one's it. And really, with the 8 being there, man, this is a tough situation. Maybe it goes. You can see him thinking about rearing up and trying to jam it in there, but might go soft. Just creep it in the side of the right side. Yeah.
Well, that's what he tried.
And I got to believe there was a chance of it going. I don't think Sky would shoot at something that just really had no chance. I mean, you try to create some other way.
A very similar style to Woodward. Fortunski gets down and gets on with it, wastes little time. I mean, even if there was a shot clock employed here in this event, there hasn't been, probably would never come into effect with these guys.
Yeah, shot clock's got its own little aura, it seems like, because you figure that, but once they put a shot clock in play, it seems to become a problem all of a sudden.
They use it.
Yeah. Okay, a nice shot there. We've seen a few people have a little trouble with that shot this week, scratching cross side or catching the point. Really naturally and talented guy right here.
Yeah, he just exudes confidence as well when he plays. Well, that was his break, so he really had to win that rack. Sky at the table now, rack number 4, and he'll be looking to take it apart. There have been a lot of positive things said about this event, and for all of you joining us, it's going to be a little day for everyone to hit the reset button tomorrow, and then the Predator World 10 ball kicks off on Monday. That'll run through all week, finishing up on Friday. 5 days of all the best players from all 4 corners of the world converging on Vegas here at the Rio. And Jeremy, I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, you talk about a few tournaments, always the world tournaments, and when they have the titles and the field, Jim, that's what the players really, those are the ones they want to win. You know what those are in our sport, but whenever the class is there, that's the ones you really remember.
Yeah, it's like winning a U.S. Open. It's just something that you want on your resume, isn't it?
Right.
Anything with a world title.
Okay, that's got to go, and that's an error there because he had 2 or 3 balls. See, the 6, 8, 9, if you get by the 6, even if you go a little far, you got extras with the 8 and 9. So if he let him see this 2 ball, even though it's not easy, bit of a mistake. And those are sometimes just the little subtle ones that kind of turn matches. Like if he was to maybe, can he get the 2 below the 4 right here? I wouldn't even worry about coming back. I would just try and cut the 2 into the rail and let it go 1 rail behind the 4. The 3's pretty far up, so the safety there isn't so easy. Like say you let him see a little piece of it or something.
Yeah, quick look there, Jeremy, and I think Sky did get that cue ball far enough.
He did, okay.
It looks like it's a total eclipse there.
Well, then that makes a big difference. He's going to be curving at it. So they're going to both be going down table together, the 2, and so that's a great shot right there considering everything. Man, what a shot. And that's the scary thing, you know, since you have to curve it, the cue ball's going down table with the 2.
Yeah,
Man,
he judged that one perfectly.
And I think Sky's got to be aggressive here, trying to come 3 rails behind the 8 and 9. I think if he edges it, he could get up behind the 5 and move the 2 over behind the 4, but that's a touchy shot. Wow, what a shot. Great shot. Touche.
Well, this one a little trickier than the last one that Fortunski faced.
But, I mean, you have certain types of safeties that are very, what will you say, standard ways to shoot them, and then you just make little variations from shot to shot. But that one right there is not one you practice. That was just pure talent there.
You know, we've said a number of times already, Jeremy, sometimes you can take a low percentage shot, but if you execute, then it's the right shot.
Yeah, and the execution shows you it's a great shot. That it was probably the correct choice, especially being as confident with it. And Kind of reminds me of a younger Rodney Morris. I don't know how much you got to see him play in the 90s, but he would do things, that weren't conventional. But, I mean, every time he just hit it so well, it didn't matter. And not saying they were bad shots. They were just different than, like, standard shots you play.
He was fun to watch, the Rocket.
Oh, man.
I mean, the way he'd walk around the table, it was like he was walking the dog. Just casual and calculating.
Stroke, too. Just really a fun player to watch. Many Americans lucky he was all the way in the Pacific where he was a lot of times. So he won a lot of tournaments anyways. But, in the early 90s, mid-90s, he didn't play quite as much on the mainland. All right, a little off angle here, huh? Just a little. He's got to punch it a little bit. Okay, nice shot. And again, Jim had mentioned these two players playing fast, but you could see when they needed to think and make a real good decision along with that execution, they could do it, and that's what gets you to the semifinals of big tournaments. It's not just the breaking and running out.
3-1 Skyler. So he's keeping the heat on and forcing Fortunski to try and reply with his break. And that's really all you can do with the alternating break format. You get a mistake, if you can capitalize and put your opponent under pressure, you kind of put the heat on him now. He's got to try and hold serve with his break. We've talked about it right from the outset of this tournament, and the storyline doesn't change. And dry breaks, well, you want to leave them in the hallway.
Yeah, and it's a mental challenge because you really, after 4 games, you kind of expect it to maybe be 3-1. Uh-oh. Can't always see game for game, so you got to stay mentally tough. Even when you're in a spot here like Fortunski, it seems like now he's broke. He's made a couple balls. Almost scratched. Didn't come away with much of a shot. This is a little touchy, too. Could bank the 3 across. If he feels comfortable there, bank the 3 across and run the cue ball to the bottom rail, or put the 3 underneath the 5 is probably a little safer. We'll get a look at it here in a second. See the 5 on the bottom rail, kind of cut the 3 and bank it towards there and just float the cue ball across. Keep it simple. Oh, he went for the bank. Oh, great shot. Great shot.
Well, he's going to have to float this one in too to stay down for the 5.
Well, he's got a powerful stroke. Now this extra foot of distance makes a big difference here. Like if he was just a foot closer, I think he could draw above the 6 pretty easy and hold for that cut shot on the 5. But being a little further away, he could go forward and probably come away with a shot bumping either the 6 or the 9. Nothing wrong with that. Most likely not going to get snookered. Oh, he went by it. Nice shot.
He does seem like the sort of player that, he takes the initiative. Half a chance, he takes it on. He's got a lot of courage and obviously a lot of self-belief.
Super talented. Pulls a big game in Poland. Growing more and more every day. And you had mentioned not super well known here in the States as far as the fans probably, but definitely well known as far as the players and the real players from the States that go abroad. A guy that's just getting his seasoning a little bit and definitely going to win some big events. Just too talented not to.
Yeah, and he's got the game.
Yeah.
He seems to have the right temperament. Well, just one adrift now, but it's Skyler with the break. Yeah, you look at some of the top Polish players. I mean, certainly the names that jump out at me is Babica. He was probably the front runner of the Polish players that came across the Atlantic. Very good young player. Yep.
Yeah. But a different style, I think, now. Babica, he's a little more tactical, not as overpowering player, you might say. Breaks the balls a lot better now, but at times struggled breaking early when he came over and with some of the break formats.
I mean, I saw him play a lot, Jeremy, and he didn't look like he had anywhere near the game that this young man
Well,
does.
that's what I was going to say, too, as far as the upside is different now in Poland. The guys are really strong, straight shooters, very powerful cue, a lot of cue power, excuse me. Very aggressive players, you might say. And a big dry break here now.
Yeah, but he hasn't left anything on the one. So
he's left a really tough rollout. Even the kick is a tough rollout. You're probably not going to get it back with that big wall ball, so he may have to roll out to a little bit of a challenge here. Like, you can't roll out to this side of it. He'll chip the 1 into the 8 and run the cue ball on you. You can't roll out to the kick. He's got to kick and stick it for sure. I understand this is maybe, okay, he rolled out to where he could see it. Now, I may still kick and stick this ball if I feel real good about it. Getting the 1 below the 4 and 2.
Play
below
cushion,
the 9.
Cushion first and send the 1 up table.
Yeah, with a high ball. Now he can cut the 1 into the 8 too and come back. That's fine too. Either one. Now you got to make sure you're hitting it thin. You cannot afford a thicker hit on that 1. And so execution-wise, I actually think the kick was a little easier, and you had a little more cover as far as if things went wrong. But I like his shot, cutting the 1 at the 8. It's weird, that shot that Skyler had. Sometimes you don't hit it correctly because you're worried about making the 8. So you underhit it a little bit sometimes, or you tend to lay off and then you don't get as accurate. So at that point, I mean, you got to look at it how you want to hit it and then just kind of ignore the bad things that could happen. Is he getting in the 50 here? No, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, Fortunski bidding to get back and get another shot at Niels Fine. It was Fine that sent him over here.
That's way light. Now that's going to be a little bit of an issue, I think, unless he can hit this with top and get by the 9 again, similar to last rack. Well, you can see how effortless he does things. Well, again, something that shouldn't be a problem, but
he can use the 9 here, try and draw by it if he likes, but either way, the 9 helps him to hold for position to the 7.
Yeah, we're about to be knotted up at 3 and Fortunski to break.
And given the way this table's been breaking, yeah, you do have to favor the breaker in this.
Well, that cue ball ran a long ways, Jim. I mean, it's still okay, but
3-3 it is. Well, a race to 7, now effectively a race to 4. And Fortunski back with the hammer in the break.
yeah, this will be our last race to 7 of the tournament. The finals will be a 1 race to 9.
And looking at the 10 ball, you've seen a couple players. I saw Chris Melling is over. He didn't actually play in the 9 ball. Strickland's in town now. He didn't play in the 9 ball. There's a handful of players.
Jason Shaw.
Yep, Jason Shaw. Aki Gariyama from Japan, he's over, former world 9 ball champion. And He's playing in the 10 ball and didn't play in the 9 ball.
Okay, the 1. Okay, the 7. The 1 settling up near the side ended up nice. The 7 went up in the corner. And a big favorite now with a nice starter on the 1 to grab this lead.
Yeah, and Skyler Woodward, if Fortunski clears up here, Skyler Woodward, he'll be the one now facing a little adversity.
Yeah, Sky broke dry in the last game, and then fortunate not to leave Fortunski anything, and just didn't execute there on that rollout.
Just sitting here with Jeremy, and like how comforting is that? Neil's just walked by us and just tapped us on the shoulder as he walked by, and I mean he's as calm and cool. He's settling in. He's waiting for his final match, but he's way too comfortable.
Yeah.
If I'm the guy playing him, I
Well,
don't like seeing that.
Yeah, I'm trying. As soon as that happened, I saw his face. I was thinking, where could I get a bet on him in the final? But somewhere in Vegas, I got to be able to do it. It seems like. Yeah, but Niels is like I said, he had to take a little time off. Had some injuries, had some issues. Tennis elbow, I believe, was one of them. And the last, I think, ever since about September of last year, he's been back and he's playing great.
Yeah, he's destined for the Hall of Fame, that young man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Really kind of, Alex Laley as well, but both them guys kind of put Holland on the map as far as getting them going, playing 9-ball pool and American pocket billiards.
No, you're right about that. 3 in a row have gone the way of the Polish star, and he now leads 4-3. He's turned the tables on Skyler Woodward.
That's 3 in a row, and I can't wait for the 10 ball. The tables are going to be broken in just a little bit more. The players a little more comfortable.
It's a shorter field, 64 players. There's a qualifier here tomorrow. Any players out there that might be tuning in, if they're looking to try and get into this event?
Is it here at the Rio?
I think it is. I think it's okay. It might be. It's either here or at Griff's, one of the two. But there's a qualifier for 2 spots still remaining. I think that's 62 players registered. It's a 64-player field.
Okay, no kiss on the 1. So the 6 is going to get a little bit funny, but the 4 is close to it. So, and it goes, I think, by the 6-7, and it goes in the other corner as well. So drawing shape should be manageable, and really what you want after losing 3 in a row and trying to tie this match up. I'd really like to play the 4 in one of these lower corners. You could play for the side, but if you happen to fall a little bit on the wrong side of it or a little thin on the 4, even if you're on the correct side of it, things could be difficult to get position on the 6.
Yeah, I think playing it into the corner, as you suggest, just affords him a little bit more in the way of positional values to the 6. Because I think that 6 only goes to the side that he's showing you with his cue.
Yeah, well, he can get short position for the opposite side also. So if this is where you go straight at it, unless he doesn't have enough angle. All right, he went twice. He got a little flatter on the 2 than he wanted. So he got a little more comfortable to come for the side pocket on the 4. If he'd have got more angle, I really believe he would have come straight at the 4 with the cue ball. But see, even having a good angle, it still becomes a little funny.
Yeah, no, you're right. Now I think he has to play in behind the 6 to play it either to the top left or that side pocket.
And this is one you let up more often than overhit. And this is going to be a problem. And that's why that side pocket position on the 4, it wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it just makes you have to shoot different types of shots and little subtle shots, and sometimes they get you. Well, he's going to need that same help from that same 9 ball. I think he got it.
Yeah, it's one of those shots again. You know, we talk about it so often, but you know, he could have played it where the percentages would have favored him a little bit more positional wise to get to the 6. But having said that, if he dropped on the 6 better, we wouldn't have had that discussion.
Right. He still, yeah, definitely still had an opportunity to play position. It wasn't. Wow. Piece of cake, Jim.
Yeah, what a shot. Arguably his best shot of the match to this point.
Yeah, if you had moved the 9, he couldn't have hit it any better just cueing, you know, just regular. I mean, as far as cue ball movement, everything was really sweet.
And again, what he's doing is very important because he's sending that message to Skyler, and he's burning all those negative thoughts into Skyler's memory bank. That one lacks positional effort, and it's going to be costly. And now 2 clear. That's 4 in a row. 5-3. Mieszko Fortunski.
And breaking 2 in a good spot after winning the lag. 4 in a row, yeah. Sky's just a couple execution errors, a position error there and a safety error and the 2 racks prior. And really kind of, Fortunski looks very comfortable now.
Yeah, you know, even the speed that he plays at, I don't know if he's played in front of cameras very often, Jeremy, but if this is what he looks like when he's nervous or doesn't see the cameras that often, I'd hate to see him when he starts getting a little experience. Now we see Niels just hitting a few balls on one of the outside tables. Just preparing himself, loosening up. Rack number 9.
And it's a bad feeling as far as Sky knows this match could be out of his hands, essentially, meaning he's going to get to break in the next game regardless, but he knows if Fortunski breaks and runs 2, whenever he's breaking, Sky can't do anything about it from this point.
Yeah, tricky shot on the 2. 1 already made on the break.
Yeah, he's looking to see if he can come 1 row at the 7. Just, again, kind of use that talent, floating the 2 ball in. I don't think he'll hit it very hard. Now, if he really likes his line, he might hit it with a little more speed, knowing the 7 might slow the cue ball down, but it won't be really hard. Oh, he overcut it. Ooh. Okay, just used the bottom part of the pocket, and that's why you saw that extra cue ball movement.
And narrowly missed that 7, but he's got a tricky shot on the 3. Fully expect him to get it.
Well, the thing is, he needs angle on the 4. He doesn't want to end up really flat. Now, he's got a powerful stroke, so he can draw the ball as long as he's off the rail, I guess. He just get the 1 rail angle? Yes, he did. He can come 2 also. He can draw this. Be very aware of not getting straight in, though. And he is. Nice speed there.
Yeah, this guy's going to build up a fan base in America here in a hurry the way he plays pool.
Yeah, very natural.
Yeah,
it's the type of player you want to see him get challenged with some tough shots because you know he can make them.
Yeah. He's just got a nice way about him at the table too. He plays at a nice tempo. He plays a very not just an aggressive style of pool, but it's the type of pool that people like to see. It's enjoyable to watch him.
Right.
And he's predictable.
But a real clean strike on the cue ball, you can hear it. Just, man, really, really good timing as well.
I guess the word I was looking for, Jeremy, he's an attractive player, isn't he?
Right.
Five in a row. And Skyler has to stop the rot. 6-3 now. And he's arrived to the hill. And as you've already noted, this match may well be out of Sky's grasp. He's got to do everything he can to try and break and hold, and he knows his opposition is going to be coming to the table at least twice.
Yeah. That's the prime position to be in this format. I would have to think you have 2 breaks to advance to the finals. Fortunski has put himself there. Now we'll see what develops. Okay, he's made some. He's going to have a shot on the 1. It may be a combination. I'm not sure. Okay, maybe I'll knock the 2 in the side, but don't take any chances on it. The 1-2 isn't too tough as far as, obviously it's not a tough combination, but it's making sure you get position. So the 1 must be real playable.
No, I don't think this rack's going to take long.
No. Could have used a little more angle there, though. Just a little. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having to power the cue ball around, but
He sure doesn't seem to be limping much. I don't know, Jeremy. He's
just a little. There's a little bit of a, so you can see it right there, right off that left foot.
he's got to screw an extension to the butt end of his cue just to give him a little added reach. Just be able to cue it this comfortably.
I think you could see he wanted to shoot it quick when he was stretched on those toes right there. Didn't want to take much time.
And that was fast. That was just the sort of rack that Skyler needed. 6-4. Well, that was just what the doctor ordered, though. And now what he needs is a mistake. One mistake, and if he can get it to 6-6, well, then the pressure mounts. And they're playing one rack to see who will oppose Niels Fine, but that's a ways to go yet. 6-4, and Fortunski is breaking. And that 9 tracking near that side pocket.
Is the 3 going to get tied up? I think it did.
Now an outside chance for Skyler here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what type of shot he plays here. He wants to be aggressive, but you don't want to be silly either. Can you try to knock the 1 in and play safe on the 3? The 4 doesn't go by the 6, it appears, that either. Could elevate and draw the ball for what would be a 3-9 bank combination. See, I'm not in love with any safety just right away, Jim. That's why I say he might go after this, with that being the 1 and the 9.
Yeah, I think he went at the 9.
I think he did too. And now you may see Sky shoot the shot. I was talking about a bank combination on the 3-9. It's actually not laying bad if he can get into position. The 9's, I know it's a good 4 inches from the hole, but it's not horrible. See Fortunski staying focused.
Well, if there's enough of that 3 showing, it looks like there is.
Yeah,
Try and bank this into the 9.
I think he's a favorite. I think he's probably 7 out of 10, 6, 7 out of 10, something like that. Okay.
Well, he's left the 3, but 4 not available to the obvious corner pocket. So position from the 3 to the 4.
He's going to go up and down, I believe. Either try and get on the combination. The combination's very playable, and I think there's a nice alley between the 7-9 up and down the table. I don't think it's a ball he's going to miss. So as far as feeling really good about, okay, I'm at least going to get to the 4. Maybe I have to play safe on it if I don't fall right, but I think it's worth it. Be aggressive here, go up and down, and try and get on that 4-6 combo. And if you don't get where you like it, you can bank the 4 away. You can chip it and run the cue ball back behind the 7 maybe, or the 9. I think he's going to shoot it, though,
Yeah,
myself.
I do too. That's his style.
Now, it's surprising he hasn't went and looked at it. Like, normally you would go, you know, you're not looking for a spot on the ball. You're just giving yourself a little information on how you want it to travel. So you just go take a glance from the 4 to the 6. But
Yeah,
I think he's going to shoot
Yeah,
it.
I'd be willing to
He
bet
just
he's
took a
gonna
little
go
look at it right
4-6.
there, yeah. Oh, he's banking it away. You would draw this, wouldn't you, if you were shooting the combo? Yeah, he's banking this away. So Sky Woodward, you know, he did pretty well, but he's back at the table, though. And Fortunski's at the table, so there must have been something just a little bit off angle that he didn't like about the combo, because without both of us knowing him real well, we kind of feel like he's an aggressive player, correct?
Well, I mean, the way that he played the 3.
Yeah, it's a 6 doing anything for Sky.
Oh.
He got a snooker. He got a snooker. Better it didn't fall, most likely.
Well, I'll bet he wishes he played the
combo.
4-6 now.
Well, he's
This game can do that to you,
oh,
Jeremy.
for sure. That's why you see the aggressive players stay aggressive, because they know just how great the guys kick at the balls, and they improve their chances of getting lucky. They jump at the balls really well. So you'll see the best players in the world look at 3 or 4 different offensive avenues before they say to themselves, okay, I just got to go ahead and play
They
safe.
just don't like giving up the table, do
Yeah,
they?
exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like some teams on a 4th down, 4th and short, in a crucial situation trying to win the game. You don't see it in the regular season near as much, but when it comes to playoffs, they'll pull the trigger a little bit. A little bit of an underdog here as far as making it, but wouldn't surprise me if he made it. What's the 9 going to do? There it is. And Skyler's in a tough spot here. That 6-8 is not that easy to hook him with, meaning running the cue ball. Man, I don't know what I would do here, Jim.
Well, you've already laid out one option. You'd have to spin the cue ball.
Yeah. There's just not much room there to snooker him. I don't
Yeah.
like anything. I mean, he can't see enough of the 4 to get it up on the side rail, and maybe use the 9 as a snooker on the other side rail with the cue ball.
Yeah, he doesn't like it either, Jeremy.
No, I mean, this is just really an awful spot. Now, he may try to spin this in. He may try and throw this in with a lot of right English. Or just cut it. Just cut it, because he's really in a bad spot. Okay, and that's what he did. And he's going to get a little fortunate, maybe. What's the cue ball going to do? No, it's going to give up a shot. He's not passing up on this one.
No, but it's not easy.
No. Main thing is this, his tempo and everything's been so good. Just stick to that. I think he chops it right in, goes right up and down in between the 7-9. Doesn't have to hit it very hard, just a nice medium stroke. Yeah, it just cuts in nicely.
Yeah. I think Skyler feels like he may have hit his last shot in the Las Vegas Open.
And Skyler keeps getting himself down in there to win the tournament. He's gonna win plenty, I believe. So it appears all Europe here in our first tournament in Las Vegas.
Looking like a European final. It was a European hot seat match. And Fortunski looks like he's going to get a second bite of the cherry with Niels Fine.
And many players have talked about Fortunski when he goes through a little bit of those growing pains as far as learning a few things and getting seasoned at just how much talent there is. And he displayed it tonight.
Well, he sure did. Well, it was a solid third-place performance for Skyler Woodward. But Fortunski through to the final where he will oppose Niels Fine, and that's going to be coming your way at 10 o'clock local time. So we're hoping you're going to join us. Jeremy Jones will be here for sure. George is going to be here. I'm probably going to be watching. We're hoping you're going to be here too.